Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a first look at Gold Mythic Easter Jesus, who is going to be an advanced token character coming to Road to Survival. The visuals are extremely interesting. We have had a Jesus or two in the Mythic era, but this one is definitely going to take the cake. As we see on the right hand side, he has got quite the get up on Easter like paraphernalia. He's got the stick with the bunny rabbit head on the top. He's also got like a carrot shield by the looks of things. It looks like that's the weapon because it's flashing. He also looks like he's got maybe some sort of rifle or shotgun on his back. Looks like maybe a shotgun. And he's in a white suit. He's looking very dapper, but it looks like he's been through the wars, obviously, with the bloodstains everywhere. But what can you do? It's the apocalypse. What can you do? On the left hand side we can see he's obviously just nursing some chicks here. Is pretty interesting. They're kind of just down the bottom, sitting with a grenade. I don't know. You could pick up the wrong thing there and pull a pin. That could be a problem. That could be a problem indeed. If we look at his stats at level 1440, limit break 3, he has got 14,155 attack, 31,457 defense, and 33,029 HP. He is a strong character. He's going to be a tank, Gold Mythic character, of course, and he's going to be joining the Holiday Heroes Allegiance. Now, when we take a look at Easter Jesus' Adrenaline Rush, it's called Resurrection Ritual. It's a 66 AP cost rush. All teammates recover from all penalties and heal for 50% of their max HP. Revive a teammate with 50% of their max HP. That character gets a Guardian Shield. This character gets 50% of their max AP. So a lot going on in this rush. The full team cleanse is crazy. This reminds me of, I think it was 6 or Zachary who had a full team cleanse. It was less counters to it at that time than there is now, but it's still really, really powerful. Reviving a teammate obviously is pretty straightforward. He revives one teammate that is down, that is revivable, with 50% of their max HP. That character getting a Guardian Shield just makes it harder for you to take them down, so a little bit more survivability there. But Jesus getting 50% of his max AP means he's going to be able to get this Adrenaline Rush off a little bit faster the second time, third time, fourth time, so on and so forth. Now, you probably have noticed his specialist skill already. When it comes to the AP gain, I do believe the way it would work would be he'd still do his Adrenaline Rush and gain 50% of his max AP. And then if he got revived, he'd have that 50% of his max HP AP still, because when you get revived, you have max of 50% of your max AP. That's just worth noting. Now, the best way for me to show you how this works is on an attack team, even though I think this character is more of a defense team character. When we do the Adrenaline Rush, we are going to heal my entire team, cleanse my entire team, revive a teammate, and the revived teammate will get a Guardian Shield. As you can see, they've got 50% of their max HP, and Jesus has got 50% of his max AP. That means he's going to be able to get that second rush off quicker. If he was taken down and he was revived somehow, there could potentially be some hints on how he would potentially get revived on the visuals that you can see right now. He's going to obviously get revived with that 50% of their max AP in that case, just because of his Outlast. Now, checking out the upgrades on this Adrenaline Rush, you can see at grade 3 gets an upgrade where all teammates recover from all penalties. That's going to come in on the first copy of the character. At grade 5, it's going to get an upgrade where you revive a teammate with 50% of their max HP. That character gets a Guardian Shield, so initially it's not going to have the revive. And at limit break 2, it's going to get an upgrade where this character gets 50% of their max AP. So initially it's not going to be doing that. So I think initially it's just healing all teammates for 50% of their max HP, which is okay, I guess. Grade 1s and 2s, not too crazy, but for a tank, that's pretty interesting. But it's very, very heavy support, to be fair, for a tank character on this Adrenaline Rush, which is kind of strange, but there is a lot going on here. I also have just noticed the picture for the Adrenaline Rush as well. It looks very interesting with the kind of like bunny ears on it as well. Yeah, the Adrenaline Rush is very powerful, obviously. It's 66 AP, so it's going to be a little bit harder to actually get to occur. But once Jesus actually rushes, it's going to be easier to do it another, the second time around, because every time he does his signature move, he's going to get 35 AP, and that's more than half of 66. So yeah, it's not going to be too hard the second time around. But yeah, lots of cleanse, lots of heal, revive, and obviously some AP gain for Jesus. If this rush occurs, it's going to give a lot of freedom to a defense team that he's on. Now looking at the signature move, another picture kind of looking cool. It's called Shared Trouble. Initial cooldown of turn 2. Cooldown of 2 turns, number of uses unlimited. This character and a teammate get pain split for 3 turns and 200% defense for 2 turns. While battling on the defense team, this character and one random teammate get Guardian Shield. So this is going to obviously increase the survivability of Jesus, but also the teammate that he links with. The 200% defense is going to be even better. Pain split characters, take a little bit reduced damage anyway. But the Guardian Shields is just going to be thrown out. He's going to get one guaranteed, but the second one is going to be completely random. It's not necessarily going to go to the character that Jesus is actually pain split with. This is very interesting indeed. I'm not a big fan of pain split in general, but because this gives a 200% defense boost, and because nowadays defense team characters are much better defensive, whereas once upon a time there are characters on defense teams that were very nukey. If you could take them out really easily, and pain split generally meant 2 characters were getting taken out. I don't think that's going to be the case with that defense buff and the current defense team characters that are rolling around for sure. We're just going to test this out, but I think it's pretty straightforward. Pain split is going to massively reduce the damage for sure. Okay, so this time we've got him on a defense team, and the way it should work is he should pain split with the character with the most HP, but I think it's most percentage HP. I'm not 100% certain. And the Guardian Shield should go to the person with the lowest HP other than himself, which in this case would just be completely random. If we hit the defend action, the pain split is going to go with the character with the most HP, as you can see, and they're both going to get a 200% defense buff, which is very nice. And the second Guardian Shield went to a random character. This obviously just means negated damage and negated damage. Whether he takes damage directly or from the pain split, it will reduce the damage to 0. The Guardian Shields, obviously, I hate, because Guardian Shields are like that. But the pain split I like a lot, just based on the fact that obviously they're splitting the damage, but it's going to be reduced damage regardless of which of the 2 characters I actually focus. That 200% defense boost makes a big difference. So if we look at the upgrades on the signature move, you can see at grade 2, it gets plus 1 turn of the pain split duration. So initially it's just going to be a 1 turn pain split, but it's going to go up to 2 turns very quickly. At grade 4, it gets an upgrade. While battling on the defense team, this character and a random teammate get a Guardian Shield. This is, again, quite easy to come by. You just need that 1 copy. Once you get the character to limit break 3, it gets a plus 100% defense boost on that defense buff. So initially it's just a 100% defense buff, which is still decent, but 200% of course is going to be better. Simple as that. And then at LB3, it gets -1 to starting cooldown, where it will go from a 3-turn starting cooldown down to a 2-turn starting cooldown. I'd say this is vital, because 2-turn starting cooldown, I'd say, is the maximum you want on any character, and 3-turn might just be a little bit, too slow. Especially considering he's a 66 AP cost character, you want to get that off as early as possible, so at least he's doing something in the fight in the first 2 turns, other than potentially what his weapon and his passives bring to the table, because his adrenaline rush is not going to go off super quick, so it's going to be very important that he gets, this signature move off as quickly as possible. Turn 2, the minimum, you want to get him to LB3 pretty much for full viability on a defense team. So I'm not a big fan, like I said already, of pain split, but with the 200% defense buff, I like it a lot. I think I should probably change my opinion on pain split a little bit, considering the kind of characters we've got around right now. It's not like the original character that was released in the Mythic era with it, which was, I think, was Ezekiel. He was pain split with characters that were just going to get absolutely destroyed. Obviously, the stat balance back then was very different. With Jesus and other defensive characters, they've got 10 to 18,000 attack and lots of HP in defense. So that's obviously going to get massively boosted by that 200% defense. That's obviously making me a bit feel a bit better about it. If I was gonna get this this character on a defense team, I would be a bit more assured that, you know, you're not going to be able to take Jesus down easily based on the person he pain splits with. Just make sure he's obviously on a team that has a lot of defensive characters. And then again, obviously, like I said, there are Guardian shields as well, and those are going to stack up pretty quickly, especially as he does them on his rush as well. On the revive character, the Guardian shield will come in. Guardian shields, pretty frustrating for sure. Now, before we get on to the passives of Easter Jesus, he is an advanced token character, so we're going to be giving away some advanced tokens in this video. 10,000 tokens to the winner, 5,000 tokens to 2 runners-up, and all you have to do is type in the chat the word carrots. He's got a carrot shield. Can't really think of much else. It's just drawn way too much attention to me, and it looks like, if I look at the carrot shield, the carrots are in a basket because it's got a basket around the bottom of the shield. I don't know what I'm looking at right now. But make that part of your comment, guys, and you will enter the giveaway. The draw will happen in around 10 days on a Monday stream. So, you know, you don't have to be there, but make sure you've got your notifications on, because I will reply to the winning comments and tell you to contact me on Discord if you are the winner. And you won't get those notifications that I've messaged you if you haven't got your notifications turned on. Best of luck if you enter. Now back to the video. Now, taking a look at Easter Jesus' mythic abilities, these are his passives, of course. He is a tank, so he's going to get strength, which is a 40% critical hit resistance. The next one is called Blessed Bulwark. This character gets 100% defense when being attacked by an enemy with a positive status effect. This is going to be pretty nasty, because obviously that means anyone's got like an attack buff, even if it's like 10%, he's going to be removing massive amounts of damage, and I think you can bypass that with like defense ignoring weapons, but there aren't too many of those floating around. It's alert and in that one tough weapon, so yeah, it's going to be actually pretty decent. The next one's called Sacred Congregation. When being attacked while under the effects of a debilitating status, reflect 100% of the damage. This is going to be brutal as well. So even any damage that you manage to get through that 100% defense, if there is an attack that can proc weapons on the character, be it, you know, on attack or defense weapons, it's going to reflect 100% of what you do. That is actually nuts. You hit him for 100,000, you are getting 100,000, you know, reflected back. The last one is called Divine Intervention. At the start of each turn, 60% chance this character gets 60% Halo for 2 turns. Now, this obviously means that over a 2-turn period, it's very likely to proc, because it's got 2 60% chances to proc. So he's likely going to have Halo on him when he's taken out. It can also proc when he goes into the Halo turn, I would assume. So then it's harder to steal it away from him in that case, because you could steal it away from him before he goes into Halo, take him out, but then when it's his turn and he goes into Halo, he could potentially just apply Halo to himself again. We will test that out just to see for sure, because I think people would be very interested to see it. That is the potential. But it's worth noting as well, you could potentially attack him to steal the Halo and take out your, you know, character as much as you'd steal the Halo away and they'd revive, because the 100% reflect, you know. Yeah, it's kind of messed up on this kit, if I'm honest. It doesn't seem too fun to attack, that's for sure. Okay, so we're gonna try this out, and I'm gonna try and take him out turn 1. He doesn't get Halo off of turn 1 because it's the beginning of his turn, but when it gets to his turn, obviously when he's in the in the Outlast state, I think it can still do it. So we'll try and do some damage against him. We are going to be able to take him out, and he's stunned, okay? The stun will stop him from doing his adrenaline rush, but he also has not got Halo right now, okay? No Halo, we all see it. No Halo. If I obviously defend with William here, he could potentially just get Halo applied to himself at the beginning of his turn, which he did. He's going to get taken out. And then when I go to their next turn, he'll instantly get his turn and do his signature move in this case. So even if you steal away the Halo, it can reapply itself on the the actual Outlast turn, which is really, really problematic when it comes to keeping this character down. Pretty much decap is the only way, and that's if you can actually, land that big hit. I managed to do it off of turn 1 because we haven't got him fully kitted out. We didn't have any debilitating status effects. If I had a debilitating status effect, that 66k damage that I did to him would have been directly reflected back to me as well. Now we're going to go over the upgrades here on Easter Jesus' passives, and you can see at grade 1 he gets the first half of Blessed Bulwark. It's a 50% defense when being attacked by an enemy with a positive status effect. At grade 2 it gets a 20% critical hit resistance with the first half of Strength. At grade 3 he gets the second half of Blessed Bulwark, making it 100% defense when being attacked by an enemy with a positive status effect. Then we move on to grade 4, he gets the first half of Sacred Congregation. When being attacked while under the effects of a debilitating status effect, reflect 50% of the damage. This is obviously going to be very problematic. That first turn is pretty much where he seems the most susceptible to being, taking problems. But when you've got him in a fully geared out team with the likes of Circuit boosting that defense early on in the fight, it's going to be very hard to target him and do stuff. And well, he has got other stuff going on with his weapon, which we will check out as well. At grade 5, you can see he gets the first half of Divine Intervention. At the start of each turn, 20% chance this character gets 60% Halo for 2 turns. Then we move on to the Limit Break. Second half of Strength comes in, making it 40% critical hit resistance. Second half of Sacred Congregation comes in at LB2, making it 100% reflect when he's under the effect of a debilitating status effect. And at LB3, Divine Intervention 2 comes in, making it 60% chance this character gets 60% Halo for 2 turns. Like I showed in that clip, that actually works when he goes into Outlast, which I think is obviously the most powerful part about this. You can't realistically steal things away very easily in that case. Most of the characters out there that can randomly steal a positive effects, for instance like Michelle, it has to be on their own turn when they steal it. So if it gets reapplied at the beginning of a character's turn, like Easter Jesus, it will just reapply it in the Outlast state, and then he'll obviously be able to Halo Revive on the next turn. Bit of a different way of doing things than like how it was with Vance. Obviously, people have learned how to get around that a little bit. Very, very powerful when it comes to Jesus here. It means that he doesn't actually have to go into Outlast for the Halo to even proc to. So for instance, if you did normalize this character and take him out, he would still revive because he's got Halo. So that's obviously still going to be a problem. So far, no crazy damage on this character except that potential of Reflect, but he's just going to be an absolute tank, like the definition of a tank on a team, and it's going to be very, very slow and hard to take him out. And obviously throw into that mix that he has got a revive on his kit means he is going to be constantly picking up teammates, obviously making it much harder as well. Now I did show in the last clip the specialist skill, but it is Outlast. When this specialist is defeated, their death is delayed by 1 turn, during which they may still take an action and they receive 100% AP. Now you can control characters before they get into this state like I showed, but obviously that's only going to stop them from doing their adrenaline rush. If he isn't controlled, or at least isn't controlled in a way where he can't do his adrenaline rush, he'll obviously be able to do his adrenaline rush, gain that 50% AP back, and then revive himself with the Halo, come back, do his potentially his signature straight away, which he did that time, so you can see how it can work. He can just instantly team up with someone with the pain split. I think characters, when they get revived, instantly doing their signature moves is very, very difficult to deal with. It's very annoying for sure. And the pain split and defense bonus is just going to increase his survivability. Now last up, we're going to check out Easter Jesus's weapon, and it is Easter Jesus Righteous Shield. It has got 40% HP base, a huge bonus to AP when being attacked, improved attack down when hit. When being attacked, 60% chance the attacker gets minus 45% attack for 3 turns. And then in the last slot, it has strong rush defense. Reduce adrenaline rush damage taken by 15% for each strong teammate. This should mean that if he's in a full team of strong characters, he'll reduce incoming rush damage by 75%. So if you have got that character in mind where you could just focus him with just a single big hit that doesn't have any, chance to proc. For instance, like who's an old school character like Gentleman, he will not have no chance to reflect that, but he will reduce the damage drastically based on how many characters on his team are strong. You obviously have that in full control. I can see him being teamed up with the very minimum of Circuit, so that should be at least a 30% reduction in incoming damage on those adrenaline rushes. I think there are weapons out there that you can craft that do like 15% or 20% reduction on adrenaline rushes taken total, but this is up to 75% reduction, which is actually kind of crazy if I'm honest. Now when it comes to the first 2 slots, I'm not really sure what you should do there. I don't necessarily think that a huge bonus to AP when being attacked is the way to go. Maybe a bit of defense is better. It's completely up to you how you do that, but I do like the 3rd and 4th slot of the weapon, and that's definitely worth holding on to unless you've got a better idea with some potential other weapons out there. Let me know in the comments down below if you've got any ideas of what to slot in his hands or how you would upgrade this righteous shield. So that was just a little look at Easter Jesus. Like I said, he is an advanced token character coming to RTS, and he does look like an absolute immense tank. Quite kind of self-centered until he gets to that adrenaline rush where he's very support based, but the rest of it's about keeping himself alive, making himself very tanky, making basically you want to ignore him, and then he's obviously just going to be teaming up with other teammates, getting that adrenaline rush off to like pick people up and heal everybody for 50% of max HP. You kind of have to ignore him to a certain extent just because there's not much you can do when it comes to taking him down too early in the fight. You're going to use a lot of your power early on for a character that's just going to pick themselves up, most of the time anyway. Yeah, like I say, very, very interesting character. Could be maybe a bit slow to take down. We'll have to see with what people come up with when it comes to ideas. If he's used in the wrong team, and when I say wrong team, I mean the right team for Jesus, but the wrong team for you when you're attacking him, you can have very conflicting styles that you have to attack these teams in, and he's basically making it so you can't really attack with percentage damage very well. So if you have other characters that have it so you can't really attack with effects or burn, bleed and so on and so forth very well, the combo could be amazing, honestly. But like I said, little first look at Easter Jesus. If you have any thoughts on this character, please leave them in the comments down below. If you enter the giveaway, best of luck. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.